you? I hope you all are fine and safe and taking prevention for this COVID-19. I am doing the same thing in home. And today our discussion point is the statistics, the next part. In the last video, I explained you about the direct mean method, and the indirect mean method. I am again saying there is the formula for the direct mean is the sigma fi into xi by sigma fi. Sigma means sum of the observations by number of observations. So now today same we are going to determine the mean, arithmetic mean, again by assuming mean method. That is another method to determine the arithmetic mean in statistics. So let's discuss about it. See now, I wrote here deviation. There is a definition in which it will come when you will do assume mean method. The first definition will come as the deviation. What is that? Deviation. So now you see the deviation of the ith class. The deviation of ith class is denoted by the letter di. What is the symbol for deviation? That is di. So it is for the deviation of the ith class. The ith class deviation is denoted by the letter di and is defined as di is equal to the formula for di, deviation is equal to xi minus a. What is xi is called as what? The mid value of the ith class, and a is called as the assumed mean. I will explain all of these things, but first of all, you know what is the definition says about. The definition is the deviation of the ith class. Let's come to the ith class. See now, I did a table for you here, a statistical table. That is the daily wages in a factory is given and number of workers is given. There is this 2 is given to you. This 2 is given to you, daily wages in factory and the number of workers. So daily wages, it is starting from 200 to 250 rupees, 250 to 300, 300 to 350, 350 to 400 and 400 to 450. So it is in a gap of 50 interval. So this is our ith class. This is our ith class. That means class interval. This is our CI. Here our direct observation is not there. I explained you in last video, when the data is grouped, then definitely the observation is not indirect. So you have to go for the mid value. What is the mid value? That is, this is lower boundary, this is upper boundary. So upper boundary plus lower boundary by 2 is called as the mid value. Here in this column, see, it is written as xi. In this column, I put my xi for that reason, and is defined as the di equal to xi minus a. See the formula of the deviation, xi minus a. So this is my xi column now. Xi means the observation column. That is the mid value. Mid value of what? The lower boundary plus upper boundary by 2. Then it is look 250 plus 200 by 2. It is 225. Then don't calculate. What is the gap here? The gap is 50. Just add 50 to all. 225, 275, 325, 375 and 425. So we got our observation column now. Now what you have to calculate? This by assumed mean method. You are going to calculate the formula for the di. What is di? That is xi minus a. You got your xi now. You put a column for that. That is the deviation column. That is xi minus a. So what is your xi? You got. Your xi you got, but what is your a? Still a to be found out. That is the a, that means the assumed mean. You have to assume a mean. How to assume a mean? You see, first of all go to the class size. What is the size? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now 5 is odd. So plus 1 by 2. What is that? Is 6 by 2. What is coming? 3. So come to the 3. 1, 2, 3. See now in 3, what is the xi observation? That is called as A. What is the xi observation? 325. Again I am saying, you please go for the class size. What is the size? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here the size is 5. So n is odd now. So that is odd. So plus 1 by 2. What is that? 5 plus 1, 6. 6 by 2, 3. So now we are going for 3. 1, 2, 3. In 3 column you see the observation column. This is xi column. What I am saying? Xi column. In xi column, what is this written as? 325. So 325 is my assumed mean. I am assuming a mean as 325. Then I will put it in the deviation column. What is deviation? That is xi minus a. So xi, what is my xi? 225. minus A. 225 minus 350. What is coming? This is 50. Now it is see 275 minus 325. Like that, you have to do the subtraction. Do it from your own. Now I am doing it for you. See now, it is 225. 220 xi is 225. Here 225 minus A. What is A? 325. 225 minus 325. What is that? That is 100. That is minus 100. Because it is 225. See, 225 minus 325. What is coming? Minus 100. So you have to write like this. Okay. Now, what is this? 275 minus 325. Now it is minus 50. Now 325, x is y is 325 minus 325. Then it is coming 0. So assumed mean column, where you take the assumed mean, that column the di deviation will come 0. Then 0 above, the negatives will come. See, the negatives will come, and 0 below, the positives will come. So now you see 375 minus 325. It is, what is that? 50. Then 425 minus 325. It is 100. See now, it is coming in negative and these are coming in positive. And where the assumed mean you calculated, that column, the deviation is coming 0. So now you already find out how to find out the DI. DI means deviation. I hope you understood this definition now. So what is that deviation? Deviation is that it is the ith class denoted by the letter DI. Deviation of ith class. This is the ith class denoted by the letter DI, the symbol, and is defined as, what is the formula? Xi minus A. What is Xi? The mid value. Xi is the mid value of the ith class. Look, this is a 1 class. So what is the mid value? Mid value is 225. 250 plus 200, 450 by 2, 225. Okay. So now I hope you understood what is mid value. Then what is the assumed mean? Assumed mean is called as A, small a. The small a is called as assumed mean. That means you are going to assume a mean. You are going to assume a mean from yourself. How? Because that is important. How to assume a mean. That means you are going to the class size. What is your class size? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now your class size is odd. Then a plus 1 by 2. What is plus 1 by 2? 5 plus 1 by 2. What is that? 3. So third number, 1, 2, 3. This third number, observation column, is the assumed mean. Third number, observation column. See, observation column. This is called as your assumed mean. A, small a. Then put a column for DI. What is DI? That is, it is the formula Xi minus A. And after that, go for minus. So minus from here. Okay, 225, it is Xi. Minus 325, that is minus 100. 275 minus 2 to 325, minus 50. And 325, the assumed mean column, always the deviation will be 0. So 0 above, all the negatives will come, and 0 below, the positives will come. After that, what I am going to say, listen it. The next part, I hope you understood about the deviation and the mid value and the assumed mean. You understood now. How to put it in column also, I said it now. Now you come for the next part. What is the next part? If D1, D2 and Dn, D1, D2 and like this the Dn are the deviations. These are the deviations. Okay? And F1, F2, Fn up to Fn are the frequencies. So what do you say? If D1, D2, Dn are the deviations. In deviation column, a lot of deviations are coming. So let it be D1, D2, like this Dn are the deviations, and F1, F2 up to Fn, F1 frequency column. These are the frequency column. Like that, a lot of frequencies are there for D1, it is F1, for D2, F2, or like this, it is there. Then what will happen? The frequencies of the first, second, and nth class, respectively. Then the arithmetic mean, look at it. This is the formula for assumed mean method. When exam, they will ask you, please find out the mean by assumed mean method. Then this is the formula you are going to adopt. What is the formula? That is x mean is equal to A plus sigma Fi di. Sigma Fi di by sigma Fi. That is sigma Fi di by sigma Fi. That means Fi di column is needed. Fi di. Fi di. That means frequency and deviation to be multiplied. See now, frequency and deviation I multiplied here. 12 into this is the di column, Fi into di. That is 12 into 100 minus 100. That is minus 1200. Minus 1200. Clear? Now it is 14 into minus 50. What is 14 into minus 50? That is minus 700. Okay. Now it is 8 into 0. Now it is coming 0. This column is coming 0. Now it is 6 into 50. It is 300. Now 10 into 100. It is 1000. Clear? Now you understood? Fi di. Fi into di. Fi into di. So for assumed mean method, you need Fi into di. That means a di column will be there and also a Fi column. Multiply the Fi di to get the sigma Fi di. Now you add it. That will give you the sigma Fi di. Clear? Now sigma Fi. You add it. It will give you the sigma Fi. Now you both divide it and add with it your assumed mean. What is your assumed mean? You already took it. That is 325. Add with this and you will get the assumed mean by assumed mean method. You will get the mean of the ith class data, by assumed mean method. So this method is known as assumed mean method. I hope you all are clear about it. Now you see, again I am saying to you a little bit explanation. So already direct mean method we have already completed in our last video. So now we are going to learn the mean calculations by assumed mean method. That means we are going to assume a mean ourselves. After that we are going for calculation. In assumed mean method, when you are going to calculate, definitely there is a formula, there is a definition called, the definition is called deviation. See, this definition is called deviation. What the deviation, we have to find it first. Okay, let it the deviation of the ith class. Ith class means all the class, that is called ith class, is denoted by the letter di. So what is the symbol for deviation? It is di. Okay, and is defined as di. What is the formula for deviation? Di xi minus a. What is xi? Xi is the mid value of ith class. Mid value. What is the mid value? 200 plus 250. What is that? 450 by 2. That is the mid value. 225. Clear? And mid value and ith class A is the assumed mean. A is called as the assumed mean. What is the A? How to calculate the A? Go to the class. What is the class size? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is odd. So it is 5 plus 1. N plus 1 by 2. 5 plus 1 by 2. That is the third. The third number 1, 2, 3. Third number observation column. You understood? Third number observation column is giving you the assumed mean. I hope you understood this A. This xi and di. After that, corresponding di deviations will come like a d1, d2 up to dn, and the frequencies will come f1, f2, and like this to fn. Multiply them to get a fi di column, because you need in the formula x mean is equal to a plus sigma fi di by sigma fi. That means summation of fi di column. There is a fi di column. So don't forget, here it is the fi di column, and also you are going to multiply this and add it to get the sigma fi di. Then you are going to add the frequency column, that is sigma fi. Then put it and get the mean by assumed mean method. So this is another method to go for the what? Mean calculations of a data. This method is otherwise known as assumed mean method. I hope you understood it. Next, now the next part of the arithmetic mean, that is arithmetic mean by step deviation method. Just now I discussed about the assumed mean method and the direct mean method. Now come to the third method to calculate the arithmetic mean, that is by step deviation. It is called, otherwise called as a shortcut method. This is a shortcut method to go for the mean value, to determine the arithmetic mean of a data. Now come to this point. Again, I am reminding you about the deviation. What is the deviation? The same thing again you have to do in this process also. Now it is the deviation is the ith class is denoted by the letter di and is defined as di. This is the formula for di. Already I said di is equal to xi minus a, where di is called as the deviation, then xi is called as the observation, and the a is called as the assumed mean. So these three you have to take again. So where xi is the mid value, you know, if the data is grouped, then lower boundary, and upper boundary plus lower boundary by 2 is called as the mid value. That xi is the mid value and of the ith class, and a is called as the assumed mean. You have to assume a mean according to class size. Okay, if the class size is odd, then plus 1 by 2. If the class size is even, then direct it is by 2. So now you see, if d1 and d2, dn are the deviations and the frequencies are there, then again what you are doing, the deviation column, you have to go for the d1, d2, d2 and like this, dn up to dn you have to go for, and the frequencies you have to tally. The thing is that here in assumed mean method, I have in step deviation method, you are just see the formula. What is the formula for the mean? The arithmetic mean is equal to a plus sigma fi ui. Try to understand, this is ui. So I wrote it red. A plus sigma fi ui by sigma fi into h. Extra thing came, that is called into h. I am explaining one by one. See, a you already understood, that is assumed mean. A is the assumed mean. You already understood. Now you already understood the ui. What is ui? Now the new thing is coming, ui. What is that ui? See, now I wrote here ui is equal to di by h. The formula for ui is called as the di by h. That means deviation by the height class size. What is the size? What is the gap? Okay. Now we'll explain it. H is equal to length of the class interval. Length of the class interval means in how much length the class is going to fall under the interval. Okay. So now you see, I am just taking a data for you to explain these things nicely again. So this method is otherwise known as step deviation method. So what is the formula for step deviation method? That is a plus sigma fi ui by sigma fi into h. So two extra things came, that is called ui and h. So what is the formula for ui? It is deviation by the length of the class interval. Deviation by length of the class interval. So for that reason, to calculate the ui, definitely you have to go for the column di. So di column, what is the di formula? xi minus a. What is a? Assumed mean. Now I am explaining it under a table to you. See now. So tell you this in a factory. This is your class interval. This is your class interval. That means 200 to 250 rupees, 250 to 300 rupees, 300 to 350 rupees, 350 to 400 rupees, 400 to 450 rupees. It is a daily wages. Then how many workers? Now 200 to 250 is getting by 12 numbers. 200 to 300, 250 to 300 is by 14 numbers. 300 to 350 is getting by 8 numbers. 350 to 400 is got by 6 numbers. And 400 to 450 is got by 10 numbers. So this is our frequency column. This is our CI column. So what is this? This is our CI. Now this is our frequency, Fi. So we have to find out what? Here the observation column is not there. So we have to find out the observation column. How to find out? I said you lower boundary plus upper boundary by 2, then 200 plus 250. It is 450 by 2. It is 225. Like that, you are going to calculate. It is 200 plus 225. Now it is, you calculate it. I wrote it. Again, I am showing you the calculations also. Directly, if I will calculate, you cannot be able to understand. So I am going to write it by calculation. I am doing the calculation and showing you how it will be done. See now, it is very important. Please try to remember. Okay. Now you see, I am just writing all the calculations. I am deleting now, and I will calculate from myself to explain you. See now. So what I said you, xi column is the mid value. What is the mid value? 250 plus 200. How much it is? 450. So what is 450 by 2? Just in rough, you calculate 450 by 2. Now it is 2, 2 are 4, then 5, 2 are 4, then 110, 225. So it is coming 200 and it is coming 225. Okay. Xi column, it is coming 225 now. Now you see, what is our length of the class interval? That is called as h. Length of the class interval, that is called our h. So what is h here? 50 gap. See, 200 to 250 is 50 gap. So length of the interval is 50. So add 50 here to get all the observations. After getting 1, you add 50. Now it is 275. Now it is 325. now it is 375, and now it is 425. Now you got the xi column, the observation column. Now I got how? By the mid value of the two boundaries, that is lower plus upper by 2. After that, what you are going for to do? The deviation column. The deviation formula is xi minus a. So what is the a now here? We have to assume it. How to assume? I said you have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your class size is 5. It is an odd number. So 5 plus 1 by 2. How much it is? 6 by 2. How much? 3. So third one. 1, 2, 3. Third one you go the observation column of third one. This is your called as your A. This is your A. Understood? What is your A? This is your A. A is 325 now. A is 325. So xi you already got, a you already got. Now you can calculate the di. That is xi minus a. Xi first is 225 minus a. A is 325. 225 minus 325. It is minus 100. Clear? Now it is 275 minus 325. It is minus 50. Now it is 325 minus 325. 0. That means which column is showing you assumed mean, that column deviation will not come, it will 0. Try to understand. And 0 up, it will come negatives. If it is not coming negative, you are wrong. So try to understand it. This 2 will come negative. And 0 below, it will come positive. Xi is, what is your xi? 375 minus 325. It is your 50 now. See now, it is coming positive. Now it is 100. It is coming positive. See, this is your 0. That is assumed mean column. The deviation is 0. And above, they are all negatives. And below, they are all positives. Okay? I hope you understood now. Now come to the UI. You have to calculate UI. That means di by h. Deviation by length of the class interval. What is your deviation here? Minus 100. By h. What is your h? 50. H is fixed. H is constant. H is always remains constant. So after getting the h, you know what is your h now. Now my h is 50. So it is ui is dy. Then minus 100 by 50. It is minus 2. Minus 50 by 50. Minus 1, 0, 1, 2. Now you got your ui column. Then what you want to do? fi into ui. Understand? In a step deviation method, you have to go for fi in ui. So fi, here it is fi into ui. 12 into minus 2. It is minus 24. 14 into minus 1. It is minus 14. 8 into 0, 0. 6 1s are 6. 10 2s are 20. Then what you have to do? The sum. Sum of this column. This column sum is needed. Sigma fi ui. Add it and get it. Sigma fi, add it and get it. Then you buy it, and the class interval is remaining same. H is 50 now. Here it is h is 50. Put a, you know, 325, and put all the things in it and get the calculation and calculate the mean by step deviation method. I hope you understood it. Again, I am saying for 2 minutes. I am saying for this for this step deviation method, assumed mean method, we are up to the deviation. Then a plus sigma fi di column, and after that sigma fi di. Forget that. Now come the step deviation. In step deviation also you are putting a deviation column. You are putting a deviation column. And what is the deviation formula? xi minus a. What is the a? A is the assumed mean. How you are calculating assumed mean? By calculating the size 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now 5 plus 1 by 2, that is third. Third number 1, 2, 3. Third number observation column is your A. That is your A. How to calculate xi? Xi is the mid value. Calculate both, add it and by 2. It is giving you the xi column. Then di. What is the di column? Xi minus a. You minus your xi with a, and it will come in the assumed mean column. The deviation will be 0. Try to understand this important point. In assumed mean column, the deviation will be 0. No deviation will come 0. So 0 up, all will be the negatives, and 0 below, all will get the positives. Then what is asking you? UI. UI is di by h. Don't forget this formula. This is very, very important. Di by h. Di means deviation, by h means length of the class interval. Length of the class interval means gap of these two. What is the gap? Now 50. So divide it and get the UI column. After getting UI column, according to formula, you have to calculate fi UI. So fi UI column, again you put and multiply fi with UI and write it and get the sum of the fi UI. Then what you will get, divide it with a 5 and put all the A and H according in their places to get the step deviation calculation. It is otherwise called as a shortcut method, and by which, but here it is a shortcut method, but again in this method also you are going to calculate the deviation column, the xi column, the A, assumed mean, and ui, and also fi ui. Okay, now get the formula nicely done. So three formulas are separate to each other. I am again repeating. Direct method formula is sigma fi xi by sigma fi. Then the assumed mean method is a plus sigma fi di by sigma fi. No h is there, but here it is very clearly different from the two, that is a plus sigma fi ui by sigma fi into h is coming. What is this h? H is called as the length of the class interval, the gap. The gap between the two is called as the h. I hope you understood it. Come to the next. Now you see, I am taking one question and I am solving it by the arithmetic mean by assumed mean method. I am solving it by assumed mean method. Assumed mean method. Okay. So now you see the question is the arithmetic mean by assumed mean method. I am solving a sum for you. It will be for your better understanding. See now, what is the sum? Consider the following distribution of 50 workers. Consider the following distribution of 50 workers of a factory. In a factory, there are total number of workers is 50. So sigma fi is the total number of observation is 50. So sigma fi is 50, very clear. Now find the mean daily wages of the worker by assumed mean method. In the exam it will come like this, by assumed mean method. Okay, so if it is assumed mean method, the question will be given to you like this. The tables will be given in the exam. Daily wages of the factory 200 to 250 rupees for 12 workers, and 250 to 300 for 14 workers, and 300 to 350 for 8 workers, then 350 to 400 for 6 workers, and 400 to 450 for 10 workers. Okay, so now this is our frequency. If you add C, it will match to 50. 12, 14, that is 26. 26 plus 8, 26 plus 8, 34 plus 6, 40 plus 10, 50. So sigma fi here, clearly it is sigma fi is equal to 50. Understood now? So now I am taking this table in a vertical column. So daily number of work in a daily wages in a factory, that is my class interval. That is 200 to 250, 250 to 300, 300 to 350, 350 to 400, 400 to 450. Clear? So my length of the interval is 50 throughout. See, the gap is 50 throughout. What is the frequency given? For this one it is 12, for this one it is 14, 8, then 6, then 10. Then due to this, there is a group data, I have no observation column. So observation column I have to find out. So from this CI column, how I will go to the observation column? I said you xi is called as the middle value of what? The lower boundary plus the upper boundary. So 200 plus 250, how much it is? 450 by 2. How much? 225. So this is my observation column. 225 after, what is my gap? My gap is 50 here. You can add the gap to avoid the further calculations. So 225 plus 50, 275 plus 50, 225 plus 50, 375 plus 50, 425. So my observation column is ready now. Now what I will do, it will be by assumed mean method. I have to go for the mean by assumed mean. For assumed mean, what I have to go for? The formula is a plus sigma fi di by sigma fi di. So di, there is a but deviation column is there. So I have to put a deviation column. So what is my deviation? My deviation is xi minus a. This is the formula for deviation, don't forget. So the xi minus a. What is my xi? These are my xi's. What is my a? Now I have to assume the mean. That is assumed mean. A means assumed mean. How I said you to do that? Go to the straightforward to the class size. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is an odd number. So 5 plus 1 by 2. What is that? 3. 6 by 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. In 3 column, the observation is 325. So this is my A. This is my A. This is important to do. Understood how I did the assumed mean? the assumed mean, you have to go to the class size 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then plus 1 by 2 because 5 is odd. So plus 1 by 2, that is 6 by 2, that is 3. 3 is 1, 2, 3. 3 column observation, go to the observation, that is 325. This is my A. I got my xi, I got my A. Now I can minus it to get the D. So what is D for first one? 225 minus 325. 225 minus 325, it is minus 100. Now it is 275 minus 325, that is minus 50. Now the deviation column, the assumed mean column, the deviation will be 0. I already said you in the deviation column, the assumed mean column will be 325 minus 325, that is 0. Then 375 minus 325, 50. Then 425 minus 325, 100. So the important point to note that, look at it, when the deviation column, that is the assumed mean column, the deviation column, it is coming 0. The 0 up, it will come in negatives, and the 0 below, it will come in positives. Then you are right. Okay. Now, after completing this deviation column, your formula is a sigma fi di. So there is a fi into di column. So go for fi into di. I wrote it here. This is my fi di column. Fi into di. Okay. So this is my fi di column. So fi, what is fi? 12 into di. First one, minus 100, minus 1200, minus 700, 0, 8 into 0, 0, 6 into 50, 300, 10 into 100, 1000. So now I have to go for sigma fi di. That means I will add it. First you add the minus, this minus 1200, minus 700, minus 900, 1900. Now it is 1300. So minus 1900 plus 1300 is minus 600. So it is coming minus 600. Clear now? Now go to the formula. What is x mean? A plus sigma fi di by sigma fi. That is, what is your A? A is 325 plus what is sigma fi di came? Minus 600. Put it in bracket because a plus sign is there. A minus is coming now. So it will confuse you and the mean will come wrong. So if you are saying negative sign, please put it in the bracket. And what is coming? It is sigma fi is 50. This given sigma fi is 50. So we divided it, it is minus 12. So plus into minus, minus 325 minus 12, it is coming 313 is the, what is that? Mean of daily wages. 313 rupees, you have to write rupees, is the what? Mean daily wages of a worker in the factory, corresponding factory. Understood now? It's very easy. First of all, CI column, then FI column, then you are going for observation because data is in group. So middle value plus by 2, this upper boundary plus lower boundary by 2, then this column, then from here you assume the mean. Assume the mean how? From the size 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 plus 1, 6 by 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 column observation is your A. Then you got the deviation column, that is D is equal to xi minus A. Then it is, you are multiplying with fi and di and getting the fi di column and sigma fi di you are getting. Then put the formula A plus sigma fi di by sigma fi. If negative is coming, put it in bracket and get the answer correct. So that is called as the sum by assumed mean method. So many students will do the wrong here and do the wrong here when they are going to calculate the assumed mean. I said you assumed mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if the class size is odd plus 1 by 2. If it is even, direct by 2. That is giving you the, that observation column. Observation column is giving you the A. I hope you understood how to do the sums by assumed mean method. The next, now I am explaining you about the arithmetic mean by step deviation method. A sum I am doing like last I took it by assumed mean method. Now I am solving that sum by step deviation method. You see how I am solving by step deviation method. It is a little bit easy, called as shortcut method. So look, same question I took, that is consider the following distribution of 50 workers of a factory and find the daily wages of the workers by step deviation method. So step deviation method formula we have to know, that is called as x mean equal to A plus sigma fi ui by sigma fi into h. Here a extra thing is coming, that is ui and h. So I just put my all the CI in vertically and the corresponding frequencies like that, and here the sigma fi is 50 because 50 workers are there. So sigma fi is 50. So very clear to you. Now you just wrote the CI column here and FI column here, and go for the observation column because the data is grouped. So we are going for observation column by, or the mid value, that is called mid value, by adding the lower upper boundary plus lower boundary by 2. I got it. Then I add my gap. What is my gap? 50. 250, 225 plus 50, 275 plus 250, 325 plus 50, 375 plus 50, 425. After that, I have to find my deviation column. Why? Because UI formula, remember UI formula is d by h. So di by h. So deviation column is compulsory needed for step deviation method. So that one you have to understand. So now you will see what is my di. Di formula is xi minus a. A means assumed mean. I have to assume a mean again. Then how to assume the mean? By which? By class size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is odd. So 5 plus 1, 6 by 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Third one observation is my A. A is equal to 325. I got it. I got my xi. So 225 minus 325, that is minus 100. 275 minus 325 minus 50. 325 minus 325, 0. Then 375 minus 325, it is 50. And 425 minus 325, it is 100. So I got my deviation. Deviation column, it will be definitely assumed mean column is the deviation column. It will give you 0. 0 up, it will give you negative. 0 below, it will give you positive. So it is absolutely right now. Next we have to do is the UI column, because it is step deviation method. Step deviation method, you are going to find the UI. So what is UI? It is deviation by the length of the class interval. What is the deviation first? Minus 100. What is the length of the class interval here? 50. So minus 100 by 50, minus 2, minus 50 by 50, minus 1, 0 by 50, 0, 50 by 50, 1, and 100 by 52. Here also you see the UI column. At this point it will be negative, 0. This column C. DI column 0, UI column 0. So 0 up it will be negative and 0 below it will be positives. Then you have to multiply Fi with what? The frequency Fi UI column you have to maintain. What is the Fi? Here, Fi. Fi into UI, 12 into minus 2, minus 24, 14 into minus 1, minus 14, then 8 into 0, 0, 16 to 1, 6, and 10 to 20. Now what I will do? Sigma Fi UI. That means the sum of this column. The sum of this column 20 plus 6, 26, minus it is 38. Plus 26 minus 38, minus 12. It is coming minus 12. Then I am ready for my formula. What is the formula? X mean equal to A plus sigma Fi UI by sigma Fi into H. So here this formula must be by hearted nicely. So A is 325. A is 325 now. Sigma Fi UI, it is getting minus 12 here. By sigma Fi, it is 50. Now it is 50 into what is the gap? Length of the class interval is 50. Just 50 cancel, and due to the minus I put it in a bracket. So minus into plus, it is minus 325 minus 12, it is coming 313 rupees. Look, in assumed mean also it came 313 rupees, and in step deviation also it came 313 rupees. So the mean will never change in any method. So you can do by taking a data like this in 3 methods also: indirect mean method, in assumed mean method, and also in step deviation method. In direct mean method, you have to go for Fi Xi column, and in assumed mean method, you have to go for Fi Di column, and in the step deviation method, you have to go for Fi UI column. I hope you understood this. Now come to the next part, that is called as the arithmetic mean. The merits of the arithmetic mean. What are the merits? What are the benefit of the arithmetic mean is very easy. 4 points I gave you. That is, it is very easy to complete. You can complete the thing. You can complete the sum nicely. But if you are understanding the mean, then it is uniquely defined. That means mean is only one. You cannot go for the approximate value of anything. It is uniquely defined. Then it is based on all observations. If you are taking all the observations are giving you the arithmetic mean, and only one mean, that is uniquely defined. One mean will come in any method, because there are 3 methods you are observing in arithmetic mean. One is called as your direct method, another is your assumed mean method, and step deviation method. All the means will come same. Now, based on the observations, it is easily understood. We can understand it nicely, and it is giving a very good theory for the statistics The statistics, what it is used for? It is used for the measure of the central tendency. So there are three measures for central tendency. One is called as your arithmetic mean, mode, and median. So arithmetic mean, already we did it. Now the merits I said you, and the demerits are now the demerits of the arithmetic mean. What are the demerits? This will come in very objective type of question, that is 1 or 2 marks. At a time they will ask merits and demerits, it will give you 2 marks, and if it is only merits and demerits, it will comprising of 1 mark only. So what is the demerits? It doesn't communicate all the informations contained in the raw data. Doesn't communicate all the informations given in the raw data. Raw data, or what are the information, it doesn't communicate to it. It is greatly affected by the extreme values. Extreme values means big values. It is greatly affected by that also. So I hope this is the concluding part of the arithmetic mean. I hope you understood all the methods involved in it and the sums I did for you. And in the next video, I will go for the mode. And up to that, it is thank you very much.